AEW, 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 Double or Nothing this weekend. Let's get straight into it. I'm actually going to start off with just going over the overall bracket for the Owen. Let's start with the men's. We have the matchup of Will Ospreay versus Samoa Joe. I think we all know who's winning this. But it's going to be Will Ospreay in a very physical, definitely going to be a very physical match. We also have Swerve versus Bandino. I like the story they've been telling with Swerve coming back, having a vendetta versus Bandino. Swerve is definitely winning this one. It's just a foregone conclusion because that will set up eventually, I believe, Claudio versus Brody, which I do believe Brody is going to win. I think Claudio and Brody is the only match in this entire tournament that could really go either way. But I think there's no way Brody doesn't beat Claudio. Setting up Swerve versus Brody, which they already set up. Brody's going to want revenge on Bandino, and it might be able to get us to believe that Brody King is going to defeat Swerve, but I don't think that's going to happen. I do think Swerve is going to beat Brody King going into the finals, which I think is at Forbidden Door, which sets up Will Ospreay versus Mark Davis, which is great storytelling because Mark Davis basically is the one that led to Ospreay kind of being coached by the Death Riders to begin with. So that's great storytelling of how different the match will be, with Ospreay should be just annihilating Mark Davis to lead to the finals. And then we have Swerve versus Ospreay. They have their rematch from 2024 when Swerve was champion and Ospreay was a challenger, and Swerve won that. Great storytelling once again, and I think it's a foregone conclusion that Ospreay is going to defeat Swerve in probably a 6-star match, and he's going to go to main event All In London. I think my only criticism of this entire bracket is that I think it's missing one person, specifically missing one person that could have made this a little bit less predictable. Now, again, I'm saying this before it happens, but I think we're pretty much, at the end of the day, the finals is going to be Swerve and Ospreay, but you could have made it a little bit more unpredictable if you added just one person, and that person is Mox. If you would have added Jon Moxley into the bracket where Claudio is, and you did like Mox versus Brody, have Mox win, then you do Swerve versus Mox, anyone could have won that. And you could make an argument for either Swerve or Mox to win, right? So I think that's the only thing I have a criticism of, is that I really feel like it's missing that one key component, because now with Ospreay, we need to make him the biggest star in the world. And yes, beating Swerve, again, I believe Swerve's going to be in the finals, is a great feat. And again, you get your redemption of 2 years ago. But I just think that Mox match is going to be epic. And maybe they saved the Mox match for after Ospreay wins the title, which also would make sense. It would be a hell of a story to tell that after he wins, now the Death Riders and Mox wants that title back. So that would be very, very intriguing. But yeah, Ospreay is winning this, and I think everybody will be happy about that. Let's go to the women's as well. I'm very, very sad that Willow got injured. She was my pick to win the whole thing and go into All In. So that changes some things here. Now, I know a lot of people feel like, well, there's only one person that can replace Willow, and that would be Mercedes. I don't know why she wasn't in here to begin with. I don't know if she's just taking a break because she was doing a lot. Like, we have to really applaud Mercedes and what she did with that belt collector story and putting over a lot of women, wrestling a lot of women. We should be really applauding her for what she did over the past year or so. But yeah, I don't know what's going on with Mercedes. I feel like Mercedes is the only one that would make sense here. Again, I don't know what's going on with Toni Storm either. So if it's not Toni Storm, it has to be Mercedes here. So that is my vote. Mercedes will be the one to replace Willow. And then that leads to Athena versus Mercedes, which I'm hoping is the finals. And if that's the case, this might be unpopular, but I think Athena should beat Mercedes. I'm actually shocked that they did this match on Dynamite and had your ROH Women's Champion lose on TV. I still am perplexed by that. And then she won the Gauntlet casino match, whatever, at All In and lost that match as well for the title. I feel like we need to rebuild Athena here. I think this should be set up. This should set up Athena. I think Mercedes, if it is Mercedes, which it could be somebody else, but if it is Mercedes, we need to tell the story of Mercedes having to overcome adversity. We need to make her, because as of right now, she's technically still a heel. So her just coming in, kind of like Roman did at the Rumble and winning, doesn't make any sense to me. She needs to overcome adversity, and I think her going into the finals, facing someone that she already has beaten before the previous year, and then losing, now she has to really find her identity. Who is Mercedes now? She can't keep any of her titles. She loses to Athena. What does she do now? I think that is the story to tell. But at the end of the day, no matter who is the replacement, Athena needs to win this. They need strong women characters. I think my criticism of AEW right now is really an overall criticism in any wrestling promotion right now, is the women's division. I don't understand what we're doing with this women's division. I look at this bracket and there's no clear star. There's no clear story they're telling to me. So I'm like, what are we doing? I think Athena needs to be the one to win here. She's held the ROH women's title for over 1,200 days. We need to tell that story, that she is now the dominant champion, and actually get her on AEW TV and not just Collision. But yeah, I think Athena is winning this whole thing. I hope she does. Because if she doesn't, I really don't know what direction we're going here. And they have not done the best job of building anyone else. And anyone else that could possibly win is in a women's championship match at Double or Nothing, which let's get to that match since we're here. And so for the women's AEW championship, we have a fatal four-way match of your champion Tekla, Chris Statlander, Hikaru Shida, and Jamie Hayter. I think Tekla comes out of here. I can see a scenario where maybe someone else comes out of this match as champion, kind of as a, I don't know if it'll be a swerve, but just as it being unpredictable. But I think, and it being a fatal four-way, I'm going to say Tekla retains. Next, we have the AEW Continental Championship match of Jon Moxley versus Kyle O'Reilly. I thought their match on this recent Dynamite was very solid, but I think Moxley is winning this. I don't see a scenario where Kyle O'Reilly's winning this title. I just don't see it. I don't think they've done enough of a job with Kyle to justify him beating Mox. I just don't think they've done enough with that yet. And they told a story that Mox almost tapped out, and we're going kind of back to what we did a year ago with that. So I think Mox is going to overcome Riley to retain his Continental Championship. Next, we have the AEW International Championship of Okada versus Takeshita, which this is the match I am looking forward to because I know these guys are going to try to kill each other. It's going to be one of the most physical matches possibly in history. And I think this is the match where Takeshita needs to win. I think we need to put Okada into the main event scene. I think it doesn't hurt Okada at all to lose to Takeshita at all. So that is my prediction. I think Takeshita is going to win this and they finally pay off that feud, hopefully. I think that'd be cool for Takeshita. We have Stadium Stampede. Let the bodies hit the floor. We got Jericho, the Elite, with Omega, the Young Bucks, Jack Perry, and the Hurt Syndicate, which is kind of interesting. I also feel like Bobby Lashley could have been in the Owen tournament. Now that I think about it, why are we keeping him in like tag team stuff? That's also pissing me off. I'm not gonna hold you. But yeah, versus the Man, Ricochet, the Bishop Khan, Toa Leona, in the Don Callis family, Mark Davis, Andrade. How do you know? And the dogs of David Finlay and Clark Connors. This has to be the Elite in Jericho in the Hurt Syndicate winning. There's no scenario I see of the Man and they're winning. I think this is really clear cut. Just look at the star power on the babyface side. Like, there's no way. There's just no way. So yeah, I think the babyfaces win here. Faces up. Next we have for the AEW Tag Team Championships, a I Quit Street fight of Cope and Christian. It took me a minute to be able to say that. Everybody want to keep saying Edge and Christian. Cope and Christian, or Cope and Cage, however you want to freak that. Versus FTR. If FTR wins, Cope and Christian will never be able to be a tag team again. I think this is damn near a foregone conclusion, I think. Cope and Christian win. I feel like they'll get one last run as a tag team for the summer. And then probably at All In, it will be it. Unless New Day comes in and they do New Day versus Cope and Christian, which will be hella fun. But outside of that, I think Cope and Christian wins. You get some nostalgia from some old fans. I think FTR has been fine. They haven't been lighting the world on fire for me. They've been fine, but I think there's nothing wrong with nostalgia at times. This is the perfect way to do it. There's nothing for Cope or Cage to do anyway, so you might as well just have them win, and they'll be fine. So yeah, Cope and Christian are going to be new AEW Tag Team Champions, probably. And then I believe that is everything except for the main event, which is title versus hair for the AEW Championship. Darby Allin versus MJF, which, let me just say off rip, no matter what happens out of Double or Nothing, Darby Allin's title reign has been one of the most fun title reigns in a very long time. Having someone that's defending the title every single week, putting on bangers every single week, and it's a different type of match every single week, something to look forward to every single week, where your world champion is actually wrestling weekly. WWE. Did you know that you could do this? You could actually have your world champion, men or women's, actually wrestle every week. Did you know that? Oh my gosh, somebody needs to tell WWE, because apparently they don't know that. Darby Allin's title reign has been fun. I know when he initially won it, a lot of people were groaning because they loved MJF and they loved MJF's run, which I loved it too, but I'm like, also, there's nothing wrong with switching it up a little bit. There's nothing wrong with just doing something different. Again, this is a hell of a story to tell, to where they've built this match up so well. I didn't know what the whole stipulation was going to be to begin with. I did not expect it to be title versus hair, and that's a genius thing to do, because you can believe that for an ounce of there's a small chance that they might actually have MJF cut his hair. And MJF has been going so strong in his promos and his interviews that it's like, man, you're kind of really burying Darby Allin. Like, hot damn. It's almost like, man, you almost are pulling for Darby Allin to win after how strong MJF is going about how he's just going to annihilate Darby Allin, right? So it's very intriguing. They've actually done a great job of putting doubt in the minds of the fan of like, yo, who is really going to win this? And I think, in all actuality, MJF wins this. I think Darby Allin has had a nice month and roughly a month or so run with the title. He's defended it literally twice, 3 times a week. I don't think there's really anywhere else to go here. I mean, even though I said I think Okada is going to be the main event of Forbidden Door, you can maybe do Darby Allin versus Okada, and maybe Okada wins the title, and you set up Okada versus Ospreay maybe. They could go that route, but I just think MJF is so on fire right now. Like, what else do you do with MJF if he's not the champion? I just don't see a scenario when MJF doesn't win here in his hometown. And again, Darby Allin did a great job as champion, but I think this time was only to just give some new life to not only the AEW championship, but also pay off a story you were telling with one of your pillars of your company in Darby Allin. And I think, like I said, they did a great job, but now it's time to move on. I think Darby Allin loses here. Now, am I going to be sad if Darby Allin wins? Absolutely not. But I just don't see a scenario where MJF loses. Like, it cuts his hair? I don't see that. Now, if it happens, that would be a hell of a moment. for sure. But I don't know. I still don't see it. Especially with Darby Allin slowing down now and telling the story like they did with Orange Cassidy a couple years ago. I don't even see how you believably have Darby Allin win this match at this point. MJF is too fresh. He hasn't wrestled since he lost the title. Or no, right. He I think he lost to Kevin Knight. So outside of having like that one match with Kevin Knight a couple weeks ago, he's completely fresh. And Darby Allin is running on fumes. And that's the story, that Darby Allin, because he's so in the moment, focusing on in the moment, that he allowed his pride to maybe get the best of him instead of taking a few steps back and relaxing. I mean, this is MJF. This is one of the greatest wrestlers in the world. And so I just don't see a scenario where you can believably have MJF lose here. So yeah, I'm putting all my money on MJF is going to regain the AEW championship and become a 3-time AEW champion. But those are my predictions. Let me know yours. Like, comment, subscribe, share all the things of the things. Welcome to the High Beach. This is Arcade, your hardcore casual fan. If you're not down with that, I got 2 words for you. Suck it.